It's with great pleasure to be naming Paul Dera as the new head football coach at Bloomsburg University. The search process came, went. We put a lot of diligent time and effort, and I thank everybody on that search committee, everybody who played a part in it, including the student athletes, everyone who provided feedback, whether they were community members or search committee members, came back with the same answer, that Paul Dera was the right individual to lead our football program. So with that, Paul, congratulations.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for coming. Said from day one that I certainly represent the rest of the coaches on our staff, and when you have the kind of players that we have, it makes it that much more enjoyable and an honor to continue to lead this program. And I'd like to thank the administration and Dr. Schultz, Dr. Somerville, Mike McFarland, and the search committee. And certainly we had confidence in the process, and it did play out that way. So like anything, we're kind of focused now on recruiting and moving forward, but it's I'd like to also make mention of the 11 seniors that we had, and they had a great run, 39 wins, 3 different playoff appearances, and certainly some individuals, including Franklin and Dan Fisher, that really played the game at their position as good as anybody has at our level. And so they're going to be, that's why we're on the road recruiting, because they're going to be tough to replace. So I think that's our focus right now, but it was certainly a great year, and very proud of our team and coaches, and honored to have the opportunity to continue to lead the program. And certainly we're on the road right now trying to find players that can help us continue the success. So yes, I was happy that it was expeditious in manner, but it was a process which I understood had to take place. But yeah, well, I think there was a sense that because we are in the midst of recruiting, that we had to, take any gray area, any lack of clarity out of the situation, which I'm glad that the administration decided to move quickly on it, so that we can go into the main part of recruiting, knowing who the head coach is and the staff, and moving forward. So it's good.
In recruiting, Paul, you had people out before the decision was made, right?
Yes, sir.
Did that create any?
No. I think it was. I think there was an understanding that the decision would. The recruiting really, for us at our level, now certainly at the higher level, it begins a little bit earlier in regards to offers and things like that. But for us, it's the middle of November through the end of February is the critical time. So it's still early enough in the process that any indecision as who the head coach was or the staff, we knew that was going to rectify itself. So it really wasn't, other than some people joking about it and giving me a little ribbing about it. It was not a problem. Because really this past week was the first week we were actually on the road. We've been doing some preliminary work there. So.
Anything that's totally going to change? Get the interim up?
Yeah, the staff is going to stay intact, and we're going to be who we were this past season. So there's no changes. We're moving forward.
What did you learn? I know that the year was kind of on the fly. What did you learn, both good and bad, about yourself as a head coach during the year that helped in this process?
Well, I think my handwriting, I've told, is not very good, so I've got to get more things typing them up. But no, I think one of the biggest things I learned as the head coach, and I had watched Coach Hale certainly, and talking with him and using him as a reference, that you have to let your coaches coach, and they've certainly proven that they know what they're doing, and through the course of the years, and we've had a lot of continuity, a lot of consistency in our staff. So I think one of the things that I learned quickly was to let them coach and not try to micromanage them. And then from a standpoint of learning what I need to get better at, I think it's just all the things that happen behind the scenes in the background, whether it's the planning and the trips to all those things, the administrative things that at our level the head coach really needs to do to let the other guys apply their trade, so to speak. So that's something I'll continue to focus on and get better at. But it certainly was. It's just a reflection of our staff and players. I've made the joke before that I did less coaching this year than I ever have, but to some degree that's true, because it is from just coaching your position to working the practice scripts, to drawing cards, to making the adjustments on game day, that's really not the role of the head coach as much as the assistant coaches. So that's also something that I learned, and so but it was enjoyable. And again, I reference our seniors. It's going to be tough to replace them, and I think that's our next focus right now, is to head out and see if we can continue to add the type of players in our program that help us win. Well, usually we had tried to address it the year before, meaning knowing that we were going to lose, Franklin, as well as some of our offensive front. Try to address it in actually last year's recruiting class, so that we have some guys in-house, have a year under their belt, so they can compete for those positions. But I think on both sides of the ball, it would be the skill position, the wide receiver position, and then the secondary, and then the offensive line. Even though we do have numbers in the program because we graduate 3, that's another position that we'll recruit. So, and we'll recruit a kicker, which that'll be another position that we really haven't done, actively recruited because of Dan and because we had Braden, and then so I think that'll be another position that we do target in this recruiting class. But primarily the skill position, I say, on both sides of the ball will be what we're kind of focusing on.